Hey everybody, welcome. I'm gonna give us a quick second for all the other folks to get into the webinar today. But I wanted to welcome everyone back to Breakthrough Live. We took a little hiatus because I had to go on vacay. But I am back and I am tan. So I am ready to work with you guys and help you all out. I have the beautiful Kelly Bojarski here with me today. And so just a little housekeeping before we get going. Down in the bottom, you're going to see a chat and you're going to see a Q&A. If you want to chat it up with your fellow agents or make some comments or do whatever you want, please use the chat. If you have an actual question that you need answered, Kelly's here to answer that question. And please put it directly in the Q&A so Kelly can do that. And I'm just going to take pauses as we go along to see if there's some questions that keep cropping up or if anything that Kelly feels like I should address live with everybody as we go along. So please make use of that Q&A, make use of the chat, and we'll kind of go from there. All right.
Hey, Heather, I'll ask you a quick question before we get started because it always comes up. Will they get a copy of the recording or how can they rewatch this later?
That's a very good question. So we're not sending out copies of the recording, but what we are doing is we are recording it and we are putting it on our YouTube channel. So what we're going to do is if you go to the IRE YouTube, there will be the recording there. I mean, give us a day or two to get it edited and get it up, but you can always rewatch these on our YouTube channel. And I'm just going to actually, before we get started, I'm going to share a Google Doc with everybody. And so let me just do that real quick. I'm gonna put it in the chat. And on that Google Doc is some extra things that I wanted to make sure you had, some extra help, a link to the slides that we're doing, but the very bottom of it is a link directly to our YouTube channel. So what you can do there is you can click on that and you can look at our YouTube channel anytime and see what we're doing there. All right. Let me share my screen with you guys. And we'll go from there. So again, welcome to Breakthrough Live. And we're going to be talking today about using AI search alerts and AI learning alerts. And so I'm really excited about this. And before we do that, I'm going to pull over this real fast. This is the doc I just shared with you guys in the chat. And it has a bunch of extra help here. Our YouTube channel is down here. And right here, I just wanted to, before we get started, these breakthrough sessions are meant to just take you all to the next level, get you guys using the product better. But if you have a specific thing that you need help with just as your own self or your own team or your own company, and you want a one-on-one session with me, please do not hesitate to schedule a one-on-one breakthrough session from the marketplace. So in the marketplace, you can go to the coaching and help tab and you can schedule your own one-on-one breakthrough session with me if that's something that you're looking to do. So I just want to make sure everybody knew about that and had access. Okay, so let's get started. We've got a problem. The problem is you guys have a ton of leads probably in your database. If you don't, then you should go to our YouTube channel and learn how to do some lead generation or go to the marketplace and get some leads. But you have leads in there that have become dormant, or they're not responding, or they're not coming back to your website. Where did they go? What is happening with them? And the problem there is you might not be sending them what they need or what they want, or you might not have them on a search alert at all. And what do we know about search alerts? Search alerts are the number one driver back to your website. Number one, bar none. And so if you're not sending them listings, they have no reason to come back to your website and look. And what people are really interested in mostly is looking at homes, whether they are ready to buy a home tomorrow or whether they are dreaming about buying a home in 5 years. And that 5 year person still needs that because when the 5 years rolls around, you want to be the one that they're going to choose because they've been looking at homes on your site for the last 5 years and they can finally have that down payment or they're finally at the stage in their life where they're ready to move or whatever it is, right? So search alerts are the number one thing that you definitely want to have on. We have so much automation in the platform. If you were to pick one thing, this would be the thing I would say. Now, I'm not saying to only do one thing. There's tons of things and you should be doing all the things, but this is really important. And so what we've done is we've taken that one important thing and we've kind of supercharged it by using AI. So we're going to talk today about how to use AI and what we can do about it. So we have kind of the AI advantage happening here at Bold Trail. We have the Streams app and the AI assistant. If you haven't done it yet, please go download that today if you can. At the end of the session today, I'll put up some QR codes for you to find that on the Apple Store. But today we're going to be actually focusing on home search, AI, and learning alerts. And both of those things, take advantage of AI. Before I jump into anything else, I'm going to just preface this. You guys, some of you may not have this. So there are different plans, there's different subscription levels within Bold Trail, and in order for you to have AI search alerts, you have to have Core Home. And so in order to have that, it's, a subscription level thing. If you're going through this and you're like, this doesn't look like what I have, could it be a bug? It could be a bug. You can check in with support on that, but most likely what it is that your plan doesn't cover it. Talk to your broker about it, see if they want to add it on. It's really something that's up to your broker, or if you are a broker, you might want to call in to the sales department, see if you want to add it. I would say the majority of our folks do have it, but if you don't, that's the way to go. But I just want to make sure everybody knows that you may not. Okay, so what we have is there's two different sides of the coin here. There's the coin side of what your consumer sees, and there's the other side of the coin, which is what you have access to as an agent to create AI search alerts. So either way, it can happen. It can happen by your lead going in and creating a search alert. And I'm going to show you what that experience looks like for them. And also what it looks like for you if you go in and want to make that search alert. We'll also talk about classic alerts a little bit because you can still do it without the AI if you want to. Some people are like, no AI, make it stop. And if that's you, that's okay. We still have the option of making a classic search, as does your customers that option too. But I'm going to share with you some statistics in a little bit that might change your mind on that. Okay. So, um, really what it is, it's searching the way you speak. It's talking to it or typing in the way you would talk to be able to get at what you're really looking for, right? And this is not something new to your customers. I know a lot of people are like, oh, my customers won't understand it. They don't know. Honestly, if you go to Zillow, if you go to Realtor, if you go to any of those big boy sites, this is what they're using now. They are not using the old way anymore. So if you want to stay up with them, and we wanted you to stay competitive with them, we wanted to make sure you have access to this as well and make sure your customers have access to this. So please don't shy away from it because this is where it's going and this is where all of those other sites are already. Okay. So this search alert is Home Search AI. There's a consumer experience, like I said before, where when they go to your website, they have a choice. Do I search with classic or do I search with AI? And I'm just going to pull my website over here real fast. When they land on your site, this is their option right here. They can either search with classic or they can search with AI. All right. If they choose to search with AI, it's going to take them to a different experience, which looks like this experience. And I'm going to go through that in a second. I just want to give you some statistics here because I think it's really, really important to understand. If you're using the AI, if your customers are using the AI and they're in the AI experience, we've been doing this for, I don't know, Kelly, how long have we had this? For, I don't know, 6 months at least now?
The home search AI?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I think it's probably gone on a year about a year.
Almost a year. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've been tracking it, right? We've been looking at the numbers and we're saying, hey, how is this working? How can we improve it? And honestly, the numbers speak for themselves. You have 12 and a half times more conversations are started when you're using the AI. They're more likely to chat with you. They're more likely to request a showing, ask a question. That is huge, 12 times as much. They also have a 3 times higher user rate. So basically, they're more likely to favorite listings. They're more likely to keep searching on your website, save searches, that kind of stuff, if they're using the AI. Oopsies. The last thing here is your customers are spending 27% longer per session if they're doing that, and they are viewing 17% more listings on average than if they're using the classic. So again, good information to have, real good reasons to want to use it. Also, consumers are choosing it. So remember when I said before they can choose from classic, they can choose from AI. 1.5 times more often they're choosing AI than classic. So we want to make sure everybody has access to it and has that option for their clients. Okay. On the back side of your platform, we've got the agent experience. And this is a relatively new, I mean, it's been around for a little while, interface that lets you do either classic, which is right here, or use the AI search to create search alerts for your customer. So again, the customer can go to your site and use the AI to search that on their own, or you can use the AI to deliver them an AI-based search alert. Okay, so I'm going to walk through both instances. I just want to kind of give you guys an overview of all this going forward. Okay. So basically, after we do that, we're going to jump back. I'm going to leave this here. We're going to talk about learning alerts, but that's going to be next. So let's go into product. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to talk about the customer experience. So the customer experience, they can click and they can search with AI. Now, if they choose this experience out of the gate, they're going to be asked to register. Why? Because the AI experience is agent level. So if they go to your company site, let's say, and they want to search with AI, they have to be matched with an agent first and get in that way. Kelly, did we have a question?
Now, just a quick clarification while you're talking through this, because we've had a few questions in the chat about understanding how they know whether they've got the home search AI on their website. And since you were here, tucked right behind this registration widget is the actual classic versus the search with AI. And so this is the very first place you should look if you are wondering, hey, do I have this on my website? You will know right away if you see it right there on your website. That's the for sure
Absolutely.
way to check.
For sure, way to check. Absolutely. Otherwise, this little bitty box here will not be there.
You'll just, yeah, the box won't be there. You'll see the classic hard search fields underneath it. Just thought I'd jump in and clarify.
I appreciate that. Thanks. So again, they're gonna ask them to sign up immediately. Usually, in the classic way, you had it set to like they can look at X many properties before they get signed up. That's not how the AI works. The AI wants them to sign up to begin with. Okay. And I think this is actually a good thing if you think about it, because remember back when I said 1.5 times people are choosing the AI? You have more people choosing the AI. And before, they might look at a few properties, they may sign up, they may not. Here, they're asked, they want to use that AI, and if they want to, that's their impetus to to sign up and give you their information. So they can sign up with Google, with Facebook. I'm just going to put in an email address. And I'm going to continue. Then it's going to ask for my information. The way you have it set up in your settings, whether or not they have to put in this information or not, if it lets you go through. But I'm just going to do it. And as you can see, we've now left what used to look like your website, and we're going to head on over to the AI experience. And it's taking a while to load because I'm also zooming at the same time. Um, But oh, I just got my lead of what I signed up for. Let me see if I can get to load here. My internet also has been very slow. I think they're doing some work on it as we speak, which is tough. But oh, here we go. So here's your AI. Now from here, as you can see, this might not look like your website, but honestly, it is your site. This is your website here, but then the end of this is where it puts you into the AI experience. So right here, they can, if they want, go back to classic. They always have that option, or they can search with AI. So you're just going to do it like you talk. They can actually click this button and talk to it if they want to, or they can just say what they want to say. So I can say, show me homes in Clackamas County with, oops,
Ask for that blue kitchen. I always love blue kitchens.
with a community pool. I'm in Oregon. We don't have backyard pools here really because it's not that warm. We do have community pools. With a community pool with 4 bedrooms and a blue kitchen under 900K. Okay. So when I do that, it's going to start searching for me and it's going to match it based on everything I said. Now, this matching system is the same here as it is when you're doing it as an agent. Okay. So from here, there are what we call hard and soft criteria. The hard criteria is up here, which is the area, which is the type. So for sale, under contract, coming soon. The price is a hard. So if I said I wanted under 900K, hey, we're not showing you anything above that. Doesn't matter if it's got a blue kitchen or not. The type. So I didn't say anything about that in my search, so it did everything. But maybe I'm looking at this and I don't want condos, so I might take that out or whatever. Or you can select all or deselect all and say, I just want single family. And then here is the other hard criteria that I think trips people up a little bit, which is the number of beds and baths. So I said I wanted 4 bedrooms. It's going to take me at my word. Okay. I said I wanted 4 bedrooms. It's not going to show me 5. It's not going to show me 3. If I had said at least 4 bedrooms, then it would also show me more than 4. And here's where you can change that. You can say as a minimum of 4, and then it's going to show me 4, 5, 6, whatever it is. Okay. It has to be a minimum. So it's going to listen to what you're saying and it's going to take you at your word. From here, these little bubbles are soft criteria. So what it means is it means we're going to make sure these all match. And the ones that match all of them, we're going to get the best match. So a 99% match. If I scroll down, I might get down to a 50% match or a 5% match or whatever, because it might have this criteria in here, but it doesn't have a blue kitchen or it doesn't have a pool. And why is this important? It's important because I see agents get tripped up on this a lot because they're kind of like, well, they're very much like they want this, and I want to make sure that nothing gets through that's not this. But if you explain it to them where they need to look at the percentages, it's important. When I was looking for a home, I was adamant. I was like, I want my laundry on the second floor. I do not want to be walking down the stairs every time I want to do laundry in my home. I just don't. Well, guess what? I have a house with laundry on the first floor. Why? Because in my price range, in the neighborhood I wanted for my kids to go to this particular school, there weren't a lot of those houses. And if they were that way, they were probably out of my price range. And it really took down the amount of homes that I could look at. And so it was important to me to have that, but it wasn't a deal breaker after I realized it. And these are the kind of things that can help you have those conversations with your clients where they think things are deal breakers, but really they're not when they see a home that they absolutely adore that just doesn't have that laundry on the second floor. Okay. But it is going to rank it for them. So those are all soft criterias. Laundry on the second floor is a soft criteria. This is hard criteria. I'm going to pause right here. Kelly, do we have any questions on the hard and the soft?
No, and I think you did a really great job of explaining it. And the way I like to think about it is the hard searches are the things that you're constrained to inside the box. Those are the
Mhm.
things that you're used to and have been used to searching via like your MLS. All those data fields that you enter in the MLS when you're adding the listing, those are hard search criteria. That's what literally pulls in the feed, right? But the soft search is the things that, well, Heather, you do a great job of explaining. Like, where do some of the soft search information come from? Does it look at everything, or does it look at the description? What does it look at to find those hard searches?
Yeah, it looks at the hard searches is going to be what does the MLS say? The
Like the
soft
feed, the
searches,
actual feed.
the actual feed. The soft searches, it does look at what the MLS says, but it also looks at the description. It looks at the pictures of the home, right? It's going to look at all those things. It has access to more. So it's giving you more out of the box stuff for you to search with for your customers, if that makes
And
sense.
you remember, like when you're writing those MLS descriptions, that's why it's more important than ever to make sure that you're writing them in that natural language experience so that, those key things that AI might actually be looking for is really more prominent and relevant in the listing descriptions because they're becoming uh, more important than ever for AI to search off of.
And don't be afraid to use AI to help you optimize those descriptions, right? You could say, here's all the pictures of the house. Here's some highlights of the house. Help me write something that, AI is going to pick up on for all of these things and all that stuff, right? So
Great idea.
don't be afraid to get into Chat GPT and do that.
Great idea.
Okay. So once they're in here, they can save their search if they want, and they can name it if they want my search, and it will save that search. As an agent, you have some other options when you do that, but for the customer, those are their options. Okay? And that's what they do. Now, once they're in here and they can click on these, let me go up here. This is probably, AI is not like perfect yet, right? So we said blue kitchen. Let's see if this actually has a blue kitchen. It has a it has a blue wall near the kitchen. Okay? So again, it's looking at the pictures, but it's not totally gonna know everything about it. But there's some blue here, there's a little blue back there. So basically, that's what it's looking for. It's looking at the pictures to see what's going on. There's a lot of other things you can do. People say, I want a modern kitchen. I want an open floor plan. I want, you know, whatever kind of countertops it is. Again, those are all things that the AI can look at the pictures and tell you if that's true or not. It's not perfect, but it definitely is way better than before when you didn't even have access. Blue kitchen is not an option in your MLS, right? So those are things that they can do. And once they're here, they can request a showing. They can start chatting with you. They can ask a question, all sorts of things they can do looking at this property, if that makes sense. So that's what the customer is experiencing when they are searching with AI, which is pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna before I go into your experience as an agent, do we have any other questions about the customer experience, Kelly, that we want to address?
Not a question. Well, actually, it is a question, and it was a great question that Scott just popped in, and I was typing an answer, but I'm going to go ahead and answer it live. Scott's question, or actually, it was a really great suggestion, is should we make a social media video explaining this to help potential clients know what the AI search is and the difference between a hard and a soft search? And I was thinking, oh my gosh, that's amazing. What a great way to promote this new feature. You could say something like, hey, you don't have time to waste wrestling with those clunky filters anymore. My real estate site now has AI smart search availability. So just tell us exactly what you want, and it will instantly find your perfect match. That would be a great social media post, don't you think, Heather?
That would be an excellent social media post, just to show that you have the technology behind you that maybe a lot of other agents don't.
Right? What it's a way to stand out. It's great content. It gives you a great call to action to include. You can put the why behind it, like, hey, why would you want to search on my site? Well, there's no rigid filters anymore. Search the way you think with the natural language. There's hyperlocal data, get real-time accurate MLS listing information without the clutter of big generic portals, and save time. Also, when you search on my site, your information is safe because unlike some of those big box websites, your information stays with me.
Yep. I'm not
Pretty
selling
great
your
post.
information.
I know. I feel like I'm selling it right now. Great idea, Scott. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is awesome. Learn from each other. Okay, so actually, I don't know why I was over here. I'm gonna go back to my dashboard and I'm gonna head into me. I just signed up and you should be able to see. Oh, I'm unsubscribed. Why? Because I put in a fake email. That's why. We'll resubscribe you. So here's my search. That's the search that I made for myself. I can also, you can do a couple of different things. You can go in here. Let's say you've talked to me and you want to refine my search. You can click into here and you can make changes to what I decided if you want to. So one of the things I wanted to point out, the difference between making them doing it and you doing it is when you save it. So let's say that I wanted to also include condos, and I've done that. Now when you save it, there's one thing that you can do that they can't do, and that's this, is your match score. So you might have had a conversation with them, and that community pool is really high on their list. They're really, really wanting that. You can say, okay, I'm only going to show them 90% or greater matches. Or maybe you've talked to them and they're like, here's my freaking laundry list of stuff I kind of want, but nothing's a deal breaker. Maybe you show them 50% or you leave it at all. Okay, so you can decide what that match is to kind of narrow it down. And I think when you have people that are super specific about what they want, they're hard and fast. Sorry, sorry, this is exactly what I want. You can still achieve that with the AI and the soft searches by just getting that 90% or 75% or greater, and you're only showing them matches that are really super high matches. Okay. So you can do that. So I can say maybe I just want 75% or greater. You can also change your frequency here. So if they're super motivated, they want to get these every day, you could set it to daily, twice a week, once a week, whatever it is. If it's somebody that you haven't talked to yet, you don't know where they are, don't bombard them. They're likely to unsubscribe, right? Keep it at once a week. It's a really good way to go. But if you know that they're hot and they want it every day, or they want it as soon as it hits the market because they're actively out there searching with you, you can change that here. The other thing that here you can change here is the dynamic subject line and the custom subject line. And I want to be super cautious with you about doing this. So what the dynamic subject line is it changes the subject line of the email all the time when we send them a new search alert. So I'll say fresh properties for Heather, 123 Main Street, new matches for your search. 245 Main Elm Street or whatever. Like it'll put in an address and it also kind of changes up the verbiage a little. And why do we do this? We do this because it is super important for email deliverability. If we keep sending out the exact same search alert with the exact same subject line over and over and over and over again, especially if you're sending it daily or weekly, what's going to happen is the email servers are going to say this looks very spammy to me. They just keep blasting them with the same exact email over and over and over again. So some people will do a custom subject line like homes I chose expressly for Heather, yay. And it's beautiful, you want it you be all sweet about it. But the problem with doing that is it is going to hurt your email deliverability. The only time I would suggest doing this is if you're setting up an alert that's not going to happen very often. So you've set it up maybe to monthly, or you've drawn a very specific area. Like I always say if you have someone who is a part of your sphere and they're not ready to buy a house or sell a house, you just want to kind of keep in front of them from time to time. A great way to do that is to set up a search alert and draw like right around their neighborhood, like right around their house, just like a few streets, in either direction. So if one of their very close neighbors lists, they get something from you and they might want to look at the pictures and see what it's listing for because it's important to them because it affects their home value. That might happen every two times a year, three times a year, then that's fine. Go ahead and put, one of your neighbors just listed their home in the subject line. But other than that, I beg of you to not use the custom subject line and keep your dynamic subject line checked. The other place thing you can do here is put in a CC. So you can CC the spouse or whoever else is looking for the home for them. You can do that. You can CC yourself, but I highly recommend not doing this because what's going to happen is you're going to be bombarded. You do this a couple of times with people and you're just going to have an email full of search alerts. So I know you want to know what they're getting, but the easiest way to know what they're getting is just to pop into their contact record and look at what they've gotten, if that makes sense. I see Kelly has joined me again. What do we got, Kelly?
I want to put a pro tip in here because you did mention it about putting their spouse in here. It does not log in the notes section of your historical timeline on the contact record if you've CC'd somebody on here. And whenever I'm working with like more than one potential buyer or party of buyers, husband, wife, partners, whatever, I always add as a part of my 1-2 punch theory. Whenever you do one thing, you think about the next thing you're going to do. I always add a custom note and then pin it to the top who I included in this search alert so that I don't, because remember, contact records are individual in Bold Trail. There's no relationship to husband and wife other than adding them as just adding it as almost as a plate in a field. But so you might have like Mr. and Mrs. Smith as two separate contacts. You just don't want to run the risk of sending multiple searches out. So that's my pro tip of the day is add it as a quick note if you've added somebody in the CC so you don't run the risk of sending multiple different search alerts.
Absolutely.
And we did have another question from Scott. How do we know if someone, maybe one of our customers, is using classic or AI search if they've used it?
That's a great question. I'm going to update this here and save it. When you open the search alert, so I'll go back to, so if you recall, I created a search alert in the AI experience. When I open the search alert that I created, it is already in AI. It is not in Classic. Classic would be highlighted if I made it in Classic. AI would be highlighted if I made it in AI. And I think one other thing I want to show you, because people often get tripped up on this. If I switch over to Classic, which I'm going to do right now, Classic will be blue and this will go away. This will not be pink anymore. And that's how you know. They've changed this, I love, because it used to be gray. And people thought, oh, I want to, it's grayed out. I must be in AI because this is gray. And this is a welcome change that I didn't know happened. Must have happened while I was on vacay. Where now it's blue. So that's excellent. So you know that they made a classic search if it's in blue. And if it's pink, you know they made it in AI. Now, what if they made it in classic and you want to edit it and make it AI? You cannot edit a classic search and make it AI. You can change it to AI, but if you do that, so let me just do it real fast. So let's say I'm going to make a classic search real fast. And this applies to a lot of you who have had the platform for a while. So I live in West Lynn. I'll just do West Lynn single family. Okay. So now it gave me 184 results. You can see there's no percentage here anymore because it's classic. It's just using the MLS. And I'm going to save it. Now, let's say that they made this search, or let's say that you made this search for them 2 years ago before AI was available. And now you're like, hey, I want them to have an AI search. I don't want them to have the classic search anymore. The problem is you can't go in here. If I go in here and I see, oh, they have a classic search, I want to change it. What you need to do is you need to say, okay, they want West Lynn, they want for sale or under contract, they want single family, whatever it is that they've decided they want. Okay. And if you click AI, what's going to happen is it's going to go to AI and you're going to have to re-input what you want. it won't save it over, if that makes sense. It completely resets it. So make sure that you know that that's what you want to do before you go ahead and change it, if that makes sense. So you can't go between them. You just have to redo the search in AI and it's going to override the old one. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so that's basically how this all works. And I highly recommend that you use the AI as much as you possibly can. And so now we're going to hop over into, let's pull this over here, into learning alerts. So for the longest time, there was this rumor, which wasn't true, that if somebody searches for something on your site and then they search for something different, that their search would be automatically updated. And it's not the case. But it is the case now with learning alerts, which is very, very cool. So what learning alerts basically are is you're creating a search alert for people, and then they are, um, well, the platform is creating a search alert for them. And then as they come back and search for things, so it might have been, a home, blah, 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 with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, whatever, and they start looking at 4 bedroom houses, it might change their search to include those 4 bedroom houses automatically for you so that you can definitely make sure that they're getting what they're looking for without you having to go back and look at your activity stream and be like, whoa, I seem to remember they wanted 3 bedroom and now they're looking at 4 bedroom. I better go change that. You don't have to do that anymore because it's going to learn with them, if that makes sense. Now, there's a difference between setting up a search for somebody and setting up a learning alert for someone. Okay? It's one or the other. If you set up the search, it's not going to learn. It's going to be exactly what you said. All right? Because sometimes you know what they want. And sometimes, even though they want X, they're like to fool around and go look at things that are, $5 million more than they can afford just for funsies. Well, you don't want that to change their alert of what they actually said to you and told you. So in that case, you're going to want to definitely make sure that you're using an alert that you set up. But if you don't know these people from Adam and you don't know what they want and you haven't talked to them yet, you're unsure, a learning alert might be the better option for them because it's going to grow with them as they're doing it. And once you have that conversation with them, you could go in, turn it off, and make your own alert for them. But until that happens, it's giving them what they want in real time. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over to our platform and I'm going to go down into your marketing tab and we're going to head over into our search alerts tile. Now, there are a couple different ways to do learning alerts. Before I get to learning alerts, and they are up here, you can also make your own alerts for people in mass. And I'm not going to like totally go into that, but you could add an alert for a specific area with a specific hashtag. When someone comes in with that hashtag, they automatically get that alert. That is not a learning alert. Okay, you can set it up in AI or Classic, but it is not a learning alert. So there's a difference there. The learning alert is up here, this little button right here. So I'm going to click into it. Okay, so now I'm a company admin in my platform, which means I have access to everything. But if you're an agent on the platform, you will just see yourself. Okay, so I might just, let me find myself here. Boop. So you can apply these settings to the company, a team, or just yourself. Obviously, if it's, you're a team leader, you could do this for the company, or excuse me, the team, or if you're a company admin, you can do it for the company. But what does a learning alert do? A learning alert only applies to people who don't have a search alert set up. If they already have a search alert set up, they're not going to get a learning alert. If they meet the criteria that you select and they do not have an alert set up, they will get an alert set up based on what? Well, if they've looked at properties before, then it's going to set it up with, similar to what they've looked at. If we have no information whatsoever about what they're interested or what they looked at, it's going to set up a search alert for right around whatever location you have your office set to. And you might say to yourself, well, that's weird. I don't know. Like, do I really want to do that? And the answer is yes, you do. And why? Because remember I said that it learns. So they might be getting these houses and they'll be like, oh, this looks interesting. They click on it and they're like, I don't want to really be in this city. I want to be over here. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell the AI that's where I want to be. And when it does, it will learn. It will say, oh, this is what they want. They don't want it right around here. They want it right around there. But if you didn't send them anything at all, they never would have done that. You never would have known, right? And so again, like think about it this way is you have nothing to lose. And you might say to yourself, well, I don't like this because they might be a past client and I know that they don't want that. And then I'll look the fool if I do this. And that is where your settings come in. So you can change both the lead type and the status to reflect who you want to get these learning alerts. Okay, so you might say, well, if they are a closed person or maybe even a sphere, I don't want them to get these learning alerts. I only want people that are, let's say, new lead and prospect to get these alerts. You can make that decision right here. You might also say, I only want my buyers to get them. If you want, that's what you want. Then, okay, just the buyers. And when you save that, what will happen is any buyer that is a new lead or a prospect will get a learning alert that if they don't have an alert set up already. Okay, and when you save that. Now, I want you to I'm gonna be cautious about this. If you have, let's say you clicked prospect and you have 30,000 prospects in your platform that don't have a search alert set up. If you do not have a good email reputation, and if you haven't, and I'll put this actually in the doc, but we did a whole session on email deliverability and email reputation and how it affects how your emails are delivered. Guys, don't turn this on. Don't do it. Okay? If you don't have a good email reputation, it's going to make things worse because you're going to be sending emails to another 30,000 people. And if they're not going to hit the inbox anyway because your email is not so great, your email reputation is not so great, it's going to tank it even further because it's already going to go to spam. And then what's going to happen? They're not going to see it. And then it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Okay. So a really safe thing to do here is to choose new lead buyer. It's your safest option. Why? Because only new leads that come in to the platform are going to be getting this. And actually, this should be your bare minimum because if you remember, somebody goes to your website and starts searching for properties. They might save their own property search, in which case they wouldn't get this anyway because they would already have a search alert set up. But maybe they registered, but they didn't save a search. Well, now we know what they looked at. The platform will set them up within 48 hours a search alert if you don't do it. Wouldn't you rather than be set up on a learning alert from the get-go than just whatever the system thinks they're looking at in the first two or three properties that they looked at, right?
I always tell people, sometimes people start their search by just looking for $1 million McMansions when really all they can afford is a teeny weeny condo. So, you're better
Sorry.
off setting them up on something that's strategic and targeted, like a
Mhm.
learning alert.
Exactly. So for me, this would be my bottom line is buyers with new lead buyers, I'm going to set them up on a search alert or on a learning alert. That way, that automatic alert that happens 48 hours after they sign up is going to be a learning alert as opposed to just an alert that's not going to change based on the two or three properties they happen to look at the very first time they hit your website. Okay. If you do have a fair amount of prospects that don't have a search alert on and your email reputation isn't good, then go ahead and hit that because all those people will kind of be quote unquote woken up, right? They're going to start getting searches from you and they're going to be like, oh, this is interesting. I want to look at these houses. Wait a second. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm going to tell it I want this. And it's going to learn with them. And those are going to be your hand raisers. Those are going to be people that are coming back to your website and they're coming back for a reason. That's a reason to reach out to them and find out what the heck they're looking for, right? So being able to do that helps you get more people back to your website, gets more activity in your activity stream, and gives you more reasons to reach out to these folks. Okay, so those are what you want to do. Now, right here is your toggle. You can turn them on and off. You'll want, if you disable it, understand that it doesn't stop just new ones. It'll pause all existing search alerts, as well as preventing any new ones from being created until you turn it on. So this is actually a good thing to do if you've accidentally set this up for everybody in your database and you're like, crap, that's not what I wanted. You can turn it off, fix things, turn it back on. Okay. Kelly, do we have any questions on learning alerts?
Not so far.
Not so far. Okay. Um, love to know if you guys want to stick it in the chat, how many of you guys have tried learning alerts or if you even knew about them before. So, because they're a little bit hidden, right? They're up here in this little spot. And so I want to make sure everybody knows where they are and can use them. Okay, so that's really the gist of those. And so I would highly recommend using these if you can. Um, definitely want to do that. One other thing I want to, does this get enabled globally or only in individual contacts? It is globally for what you've chosen. So if you did buyer new lead, anybody that's a buyer, that's a new lead, and does not have an alert already will get it globally. That makes sense. I do not think, and I could be wrong, you can't, I don't believe you can do it. Yeah, there's no way to do it per contact. If that makes sense. It's just a global thing,
Not at this time.
not at this time. Uh, okay. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say is there's one other reason why you, let me go back. Blah, 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 blah. One other reason why you might not want to do this if you have if the majority of your, like, let's say I said, hey, we want anybody who is a just new lead buyer. If you have a third party source where we don't know what they're looking at, but you do, so it might come over in a note. It might come over some other weird way where it doesn't show up in their timeline as them looking at a property. This might not be for you. Okay. So if you have Zillow and you have Zillow Tech Connect turned on, if they looked at a property in Zillow, it should actually show in your timeline and you should be golden there. But if you have some other third party source where it just comes over like as a note, we can't read that as far as these search alerts go. And so it's going to default to right around your office. And that's not what you really want, right? So if they're coming to your website and signing up, definitely you want this. But if they are coming to, they're coming in from a third party source and you know what they're looking for, but we can't see that, this might not be the best situation for you. So I want you to kind of think about where your leads are coming from before you turn this on and be real strategic about it. Okay? Um, if we do not see it on our page, so you cannot have learning alerts, I don't believe, unless you also have Home Search AI. Um,
That is correct.
yeah, so you might not have it because of that. I also know that we've done it in certain phases, so I think it's globally going to happen for everybody with Home Search AI I just saw it. I think is it next week, Kelly? I just saw it in our,
It is coming soon. What I have been sharing with folks is if they're unsure if they have it or if they should have it, and maybe they just don't have it yet, is they can always reach out to our support team and verify with them.
yeah, good call. All right. So we already took a look. So we're about at the end here. I wanted to see if we had any other questions or any other things we should address before we hop off, Kelly.
I think we're good. We had a question about a Buffini client, but I'm answering it offline.
Okay. So again, if you haven't downloaded Streams yet, please do that. This is the link to download Streams. If you haven't heard of it, it's our new app for Bold Trail, and it is fantastic. It's all AI driven. It's very simple to use. You can talk to it and tell it, "Hey, add this person to my contacts," or "Please send this person an email," and it'll say, "Oh, what do you want to say to them?" And you'll say, "I want to tell them this," and it'll craft the email for you and send it. And it's the best thing ever if you haven't used it yet. This is only for Apple users, but Android, our global release is next week. However, I got a little permission from our product managers to let you guys know that it is in the Google Play Store. So if you search up Bold Trail Streams in the Google Play Store for, oh, the link's expired. Oh, you know why? Because this is part of my contest from before. You can go to, here we go. This is what you can do. You can go to your dashboard and you can go to mobile apps and it's right here. This is the link to go to the App Store on um, Apple and get it. If you have Android. It's in beta. So I want to be very clear. If you go, it is available actually on the Google Play Store now. You can search it up and get it, but we are still in beta until next week. You might experience a few kinks. Okay, just disclaimer. But it's coming. Global releases, we're hoping to do it next week so that everybody can get it and we're out of beta. But if you have Android and you want early access to play with it, just know you might encounter a few kinks, but
And
you
for the
can.
recording and AI everywhere, next week on the recording is July 8th.
Yes, next week is July 8th, 100%. Thanks, Kelly. Um, all right, cool. That's all I had for you guys. Let's see, that's the old one. So thank you guys so much for coming today, and I hope you learned something. Again, I'm going to put the Google Doc one more time in the chat, just so everyone has it again. And go ahead and make sure to look on our YouTube channel for all sorts of great stuff. There's been some cool podcasts with some industry leaders. There's these breakthrough sessions are there, and definitely want to make sure you guys have access to all that. So please go there as well. It's been awesome seeing you guys. I hope everybody next week we're going to be back. So please come if you've registered today, you are already registered for all of our breakthrough live sessions. So next week we are going to actually be talking about your website and how to do some changes to your website. And I think that's going to be super fun. So we're basically going to be building, a professional website for you that's going to convert for you. We're going to talk about some web and IDX settings, some custom features and things like that that you can definitely use to make your website stand out. So I hope you will join me next week, same time, same place, same link. We will see everyone then. All right, take care, everybody. Happy 4th, absolutely. Take care.